And that's Skar versus Tweedy. You know, one of the most iconic sets that you would see in tournaments all over. Two phenomenal players in their own right. I don't think I've ever seen them play in MK1, so this is going to be a first for me. But we're going to be seeing Tweedy taking on Skar here.
And this was a Garrus Jade in a way.
Yeah. And now you basically got the next best thing. You got Baraka Ashra.
You know, I always thought, I thought of Garrus as like maybe one of the more like brutal characters in 11. Just always felt like he was just, everything he did, he felt like he made sure it hurt even more. And Baraka kind of symbolizes a bit of that in this game.
Yeah, instead of just slamming you into walls and stuff, he's, you know, beating your face in with his blades.
When I see Baraka's moves, they just feel personal.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, you get inflicted with a disease that slowly turns you into a savage and try to be nice to your opponents, you know?
That's fair. But, then again, Baraka can't assault me on screen like Garrus can. So,
you got a point there.
Yeah. Yeah, I know those combos don't actually do as much damage, but the mental damage that they cause to your opponent, I feel is like well worth it.
Especially when he, you know, it's the iconic Gearus combo that everyone knows and not so much loves. We're not gonna say it, but you know, if you know, you know.
You know.
But that's gonna be Skar taking round 2, final round here. You know, I haven't really been saying much about the set, but these two players going back and forth. Tweedy with a pretty dominant round 1. Skar, you know, single-handedly just taking that second round back for himself in equally dominant fashion. Now, maybe a more back and forth round 3 here as they start to understand what the game plan is from each other.
Yeah, and Skar only lost today to B-Wood. He's just been on an absolute tear. So, yeah, I always liked his Tanya, but his Astra has been just so good in K1 from every time I've got to see him play. Like he's always so clean with his inputs and you know, it's a character you need to really master spacing with. And he's just so good at that. I mean, we saw that in 11 with Jade, and it just kind of carries over into this game as well. So, yeah, I think the key here is going to be for Tweedy to kind of get in and try to force all the pressure he possibly can, because when he gets to this screen, I think Skar is just too used to.
Oh, wow.
The way it plays, but what a great call out.
This is not going to kill, but this will be really great for Tweedy. Not only does the Fatal Blow do a substantial amount of damage, it also does great dot damage. And fun fact about Baraka, whenever the opponent is suffering dot damage, he actually does increase tip damage. That is a nice little like passive effect that he also gets.
Oh.
10 seconds left on the clock. It catches with the helicopter. Here comes Kano, and just the chip out there alone with the Kano ball is going to be enough for Tweedy to take game number 1 off that beautiful comeback. And it all just came down to him calling out that projectile in neutral, and that is a Tweedy classic, especially in MK11. If he saw you just starting up a projectile mid-screen and he was playing Gearus, you know, that's a vacuum. That's the Hoover vacuum all day.
Set 1, it clearly doesn't disappoint, right?
Yeah.
So I'm calling an early prediction that I really want to see a game 5.
That would be very impressive if we can see it here. And you know, Tweedy already showing off early, as we saw at the end of game 1. He's not to be taken lightly when he's in that 30% range. If you see that little L2 R2 at the top of the screen, and you want to think you can get, you know, you can get a little bit risky with those projectiles, he is showing over and over again that he is not afraid to punish you for your single missed opportunities. But now back to neutral here.
Doing a really good job this time. You know, last game we saw him just like kind of throw a lot of projectiles out. This time it seems like he's kind of putting a little bit more of a gap in them, hoping maybe he can kind of catch Skar out. Uh-oh.
Okay, interesting lag spike there, but seems like everything cleared up. Thankfully, nothing got disconnected there.
Man,
But
Tweedy,
now,
going with the life lead and just kind of, right as I say it, was just kind of spacing things out, puts in so much pressure.
Cannonball gonna keep himself safe there. I remember Tweedy saying he was unsure about this, this Baraka Kano team. It just wasn't feeling very similar to Striker, but the more we've been seeing it, it seems like he's really found out how this team really functions and works, and we've been seeing, sort of the same game plan you see with Baraka Striker, Baraka Cyrax, just going for that down forward 2 into the assist call. But we've also been seeing a lot of unique applications of it that you're not really seeing with the other cameos, where we're seeing, Kano coming in to apply the offense of the jump in. We're seeing it off of, just overall neutral, even just using Kano to just take hits for him so he doesn't have to deal with a lot of the projectile wars.
And I think when you're rocking a character such as Baraka who only has a high projectile, you kind of need that so you can, keep someone honest, right? And using that Kano ball like very, very well, just to kind of always keep it as a threat on screen.
I mean, speaking of being a threat, Tweedy
Decisive game too.
Yeah, Skar right now is in threat of being knocked out of the tournament.
Seeing the character swap, I don't think it's a bad choice by any means. Plus having the ability to amplify that and just kind of like eat through. Tanya, most people don't know this, has a very unique asset to her projectile. When you amplify it, most of them will hit the cameo and stop there. Tanya's will actually go through the cameo and hit the player as well.
On top of that, also nullifies enemy projectiles that come in. So, say Tweedy wants to sit back, throw out the Baraka Blade, throw out Kano Knives, that amplified projectile will win that trade 100% of the time. But, even more, has access to the teleport, so Skar can get conversions like this and steal back the corner immediately. Keeping the pressure here, great hit there on the Chameleon, not going to have it for another couple seconds. Trying to call out the flawless block. Yeah, beautiful micro duck there from Tweedy, and that's going to be the round set point here for Tweedy.
Such smart play from Tweedy. We see Baraka's sometimes can get almost a bit overzealous, right? Kind of live and die on that mix, and we're just kind of seeing Tweedy play such a really smart, patient game. And every time he knows he has an opportunity, just cashing either chip or damage on it. And when the damage comes, it hurts.
Right now, we're going to be seeing if Tweedy can find his way in to get that damage as Skar gets a nice little life lead here, and just playing that life lead wonderfully. The one thing he did well with Jade. Oh, as I say that, beautiful jump in here from Tweedy to punish the stand 3. It's going to be huge damage here.
Smart move that I think most will miss there too. Right as that projectile comes out, and you see he called Kano, Tweedy actually steps forward to block the projectile to keep the knives coming out to keep his turn.
And just like that, Tweedy, I would say a very decisive 3-0 over Skar to move on, guaranteed 4th place. He will be taking on B-Wood in losers semifinal.